Nobody told him to show up. Nobody scheduled it. Nobody filmed it for a highlight reel. But there he was, again, grinding through an empty facility while half the league was on vacation. This is the story they didn't expect to be telling right now.
Could Shedeur Sanders be quietly leaving the Cleveland Browns quarterback race behind? Or even the team itself? Well, because on an official team rest day, Sanders was spotted working out alone at Baldwin Wallace University, throwing passes and running drills, clearly showing he's not waiting around for his chance. Sanders remains third on the depth chart, much to the frustration of fans eager to see the former Colorado standout finally get reps. But while others rest, he keeps grinding. Will his dedication force a shift, or will he stay buried on the bench?
Go! Yeah. No happy home! Happy home! 1, 2, 3. Let's go. We're going to see how happy he is home. Yeah, 1. Get up! 2. So why you do this the first time? Because I remember my past, nigga! I remember past divorce, nigga!
Tell you this is something new for him. I would love to tell you that Shedeur is doing some crazy thing, going to Colorado, getting in that higher elevation where the air is a little thinner and it takes a little more, where it takes more out of you, right? That high altitude training down there or up there in Boulder, Colorado, linking back up with his alma mater, linking back up with his guy, obviously Coach Prime. I mean, that's his dad's more than his guy, and then Coach Marion. And you know, you're going to see something here. It's the off season. It's the off season, right?
Months ago, the narrative was simple. Shedeur Sanders was a name people argued about more than they watched play. Too entitled, they said. Too comfortable. A name carried by a famous father, not by his own work. Then the tape started leaking out. Early mornings, empty practice fields, a quarterback who treated the so-called dead period of the NFL calendar like it was the fourth quarter of a playoff game. And suddenly, the people who doubted him had a problem, because the kid wasn't slowing down, he was speeding up.
So one of the most respected, innovative minds in the world of offense in college football, and Coach Marion, by the way. I'm back in the realm of not just high altitude, but being in the area of my Hall of Fame father, who's gonna put me around some great resources. I brought my guy Gage, who's been grinding with me since before it was even a real quarterback battle. Talk to these people, man.
Picture it. High altitude, thinner air, every breath costing more than it should. Most players spend their off-season recovering. Shedeur chose discomfort on purpose, training in conditions that punish the body, just to gain an edge nobody else was chasing. He didn't do it alone. He linked back up with the people who built him, his college coaching circle, his inner circle, the same training partners who were with him before any of this was a competition, before scouts cared, before cameras showed up. One of those people had been there from the beginning, grinding next to him back when there was no quarterback battle to win, just a guy throwing footballs to whoever would catch them, because the work mattered more than the audience. That kind of loyalty doesn't show up in a stat sheet, but it shows up in moments like this. Here's where it gets complicated, because while Shedeur was out there working in silence, the media cycle was busy building a different story. Reports started surfacing that he was falling behind, that a more experienced quarterback had the inside track, that maybe, just maybe, talent alone wasn't going to be enough to win the job. For a lot of players, that kind of pressure breaks focus. It gets in your head. It makes you press, makes you force throws, makes you play scared. Shedeur didn't blink. While the talking heads debated his ceiling, he was in the building, early, late, on bye weeks, on supposed days off. Multiple reporters independently confirmed the same thing. He simply never left.
Well, I think what happened is Shedeur Sanders came on so strong in those last probably 3-4 weeks of OTAs and minicamps that he made it impossible for them to go out there and make a decision right now. I think he kind of just put his nose to the grindstone and really studied that offense and got out there and did what he needed to do at the line of scrimmage, more so than he did in the beginning. When it came to the operation of the offense, he became way, way more efficient, just in terms of...
And then something happened that nobody in the media expected. The tone changed. Practice reports started shifting. Coaches who'd been measured and cautious about the quarterback competition suddenly sounded different. Analysts who'd written him off weeks earlier were now describing a player closing a gap they themselves had created in the first place. Words started circulating that his understanding of the offense had taken a leap. Sharper reads, cleaner footwork, faster decisions at the line. The kind of progress that doesn't happen by accident. It happens through hundreds of repetitions nobody was watching. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't, can he compete? It was, how far can this go? But here's the uncomfortable truth buried inside that turnaround. The same voices now praising his growth were the same voices that spent months building a narrative against him. And when you look closely at the timeline, the math doesn't add up the way they wanted to. A handful of practices, a normal off-season program, the standard process every young quarterback goes through to learn a new system. That's all it actually was. But it got framed as a redemption arc, as if discipline was something he'd just discovered, instead of something he'd been doing the entire time, just without cameras pointed at him.
Supporting somebody who's working really hard. It's easy to support and root for Shedeur because I've seen when the offseason comes, he puts in extra work. We see as soon as Coach Monken gets in Shedeur hasn't left the building. It's reported by multiple people. You got Jason Lloyd. He had to report it finally. Nobody can ever deny the work that he puts in. You can talk about stats and talent and all that stuff. We can have those conversations.
That's the real story here. Not a sudden awakening, not a switch flipped overnight, just a young quarterback who never stopped working, even when nobody was paying attention, even when the only audience was an equipment manager running routes, even when the loudest voices in football media had already decided who he was. The coaches inside that building know something the outside world is only now catching up to. The doubt was never about effort, it was about narrative, and narratives change a lot slower than work ethic does. So now the question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders can handle the pressure of an NFL quarterback competition. The question is whether the people who doubted him are ready to admit they were watching the wrong tape the entire time. Because this kid isn't chasing a moment, he's building a career, one rep at a time, whether the cameras show up or not. And if history has taught us anything about doubting a Sanders, the receipts always come due. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning of where this one's headed.